Is there is that the source of if you were able to deconstruct like where some of your best ideas came from? Is there a process that's at the core of that?
Yeah,
Like, so some people, walk and think. Some people, like in the shower, the best ideas hit them. If you talk about like Newton, Apple hitting him on the head.
no, I found out a long time ago. I process things somewhat slowly. So, like in college, I had friends that could study at the last minute, get an A next day. I can't do that at all. So I always front loaded all the work. Like I do all the problems early. For finals, like the last 3 days, I wouldn't look at a book
Hmm.
because I want because like a new fact the day before finals may screw up my understanding of what I thought I knew. So my goal was to always get it in and give it time to soak. And I used to, I remember when we were doing like 3D calculus, I would have these amazing dreams of 3D surfaces with normal, calculating the gradient, and just like all come up. It was like really fun, like very visual. And if I got cycles of that, that was useful. And the other is don't over filter your ideas. Like I like that process of brainstorming where lots of ideas can happen. I like people who have lots of ideas.
And then you
But then
just let
there's
them
a
sit.
then there's a yeah, I'll let them sit and let it breathe a little bit, and then reduce it to practice. Like at some point, you really have to. Does it really work? Like, is this real or not? Right. But you have to do both. There's creative tension there. Like, how do you be both open and precise?
Have you had ideas that that sit in your mind for like years
Yeah.
before the?
Sure.
It's an interesting way to is generate ideas and just let them sit. Let them sit there for a while. I think I have a few of those ideas.
Yeah, it was so funny. Yeah, I think that's creativity discipline or something.
For the slow thinkers in the room, I suppose. Because some people, like you said, are just like the
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, there's so much diversity in how people think.
yeah.
How fast or slow they are, how well they remember or don't. Like, I'm not super good at remembering facts, but processes and methods. Like in our engineering, I went to Penn State, and almost all our engineering tests were open book. I could remember the page and not the formula.
Hmm.
But as soon as I saw the formula, I could remember the whole method if I'd learned it.
Yeah.
So it's a funny where some people could, I just watched friends like flipping through the book trying to find the formula,
Mhm.
even knowing that they'd done just as much work. And I would just open the book, and I was on page 27, bottom half. I could see the whole thing visually.
Yeah.
And,
And you have to learn that about yourself and figure out how to function optimally.
I had a friend who was always concerned he didn't know how he came up with ideas. He had lots of ideas, but he said they just sort of popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd be working on something, have this idea, and like, where does it come from? But you can have more awareness of it. Like,
Yeah.
how your brain works is a little murky as you go down from the voice in your head or the obvious visualizations. Like when you visualize something, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's weird.
If I say, visualize a volcano, it's easy to do, right? You can.
And what does it actually look like when you visualize it?
I can visualize to the point where I don't see very much out of my eyes, and I see the colors of the thing I'm visualizing.
Yeah, but there's like there's a shape, there's a texture, there's a color, but there's also conceptual visualization. Yeah. Like, what are you actually visualizing when you're visualizing a volcano? Just like with peripheral vision, you think you see the whole thing.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it. Yeah, you have this kind of almost peripheral vision of your visualizations. They're like these ghosts. But if you work on it, you can get a pretty high level of detail.
And somehow you can walk along those visualizations and come up with an idea, which is weird.
But when you're thinking about solving problems, like you're putting information in, you're exercising the stuff you do know, you're sort of teasing the area that you don't understand and don't know, but you can almost feel that process happening. That's how I like I know sometimes when I'm working really hard on something, like I get really hot when I'm sleeping, and it's like the blankets I wake up, all the blankets are on the floor, and every time I wake up and think, wow, that was great.
Are you able to reverse engineer what the hell happened there?
Oh, sometimes it's vivid dreams, and sometimes it's this kind of, like you say, like shadow thinking, that you sort of have this feeling you're going through this stuff, but it's not that obvious.
Isn't that so amazing that the mind just does all these little experiments? I never, I always thought it's like a river that you're just there for the ride. But you're right. If you prep it,
No,
maybe.
it's all understandable. Meditation really helps. You got to start figuring out. You need to learn the language of your own mind, and there's multiple levels of it. But
The abstractions again, right?
it's
Yeah.
somewhat comprehensible and observable and feelable, or whatever the right word is. It's, yeah, you're not along for the ride. You are the ride.